who or what are the spirit doctors and why would somebody want to work with them?
Okay, great. The spirit doctors are a beautiful group of multidimensional beings, and we would classify them as doctors, as in physicians and healers and shamans. And many of them walked on the earth plane in those roles, which is so beautiful. So then they reunited on spirit side to continue their work with us. So, what I love about the fact that many of them were here in a human body and incarnation is that they really understand what we go through and they understand the human condition. So, in that way, they have so much compassion when they're working with someone on whatever kind of issue, whether it be physical or emotional, and often giving really great guidance, giving remedies, and various healings that they do actually during the session as well. So,
Mm,
as a practitioner, we basically we invite in and invoke their presence. And there's a whole protocol for that. And then just really having them come in and then step back a little bit and let them do their work and just as an observer see what's happening so that after the healing session, we can share some kind of message or information for the client.
okay, so you also receive messages like while the work is happening?
Yeah, while it's happening, and it's a little bit different from for every practitioner, for me and for several of the other practitioners who've gone through the program. There's like an inner scene of what's happening with the healing work, what they're doing. And for me, I'm with a pen and paper, and I'm just writing everything that's coming through. So I'm hearing in my mind, and often they will speak in the we voice. We are now doing something. We are now addressing this issue, or we're coming in to bring in a healing tool to work with us. Um,
Yeah. Okay. How long have you been working with them out of curiosity?
Close to 20 years.
Wow.
20 years, and I was thinking actually today that it's fascinating that in the beginning, much of the work that was being done was more about the physical body. I mean, we ask for healing on all levels of our being, all levels, emotional, mental, spiritual, energetic, from all times. But it seems in the past couple years, I would say, that they're really having to focus, and what people are bringing as well as issues is on the emotional body. Really
Mm.
helping people with that.
Okay, so they can help on a few different levels.
Yes, definitely. And often it's simultaneously happening. They'll go in just to say there are surgeons on the team. And what was beautiful for me early on, because it was my teacher, Dr. Verna Yater, who passed this legacy to me. Early on, I had a really wonderful healing of both of my knees because I'd had a professional dance career for 25 years and I was transitioning. I was still in it actually when I met her. And it was just at that point in time where, I was feeling the stress of my knees and knowing the pain that was there, that something would have to be resolved at some point. And of course, all my friends at the time were saying, dance colleagues were saying, you know, um, just go ahead and have the laparoscopy. It's so easy now. That's when it was new, right? This is old news now. But I just put it off with this idea. But as I was introduced to the spirit doctors, and at one point, somewhere in those 7 years that I worked with her, they did a surgery on both of my knees, and I never had pain again. So there you go. It was great for me to experience that, to really know and understand what the capabilities were. And then in particular, one evening we were in a group healing that I was receiving their work, and I heard them speak. And that was finally I don't know, the moment for me to realize this is really real. This is
Wow, that's an amazing story.
that's a good one.
So, okay, this is the practitioner program, which is different from you do a couple other spirit doctor courses. How is this one different from the other ones that you do?
Yeah, so the courses are a way to introduce the spirit doctor team to people so that they can call upon them for their own healing at times that they might need some assistance or healing or guidance. But that course those are 6-week courses that I really feel are introductions. And then if somebody is drawn to the work or feels very resonant with it, and often people who come to the practitioner program, I really feel like they've been nudged by spirit. they're being drawn to it, and the spirit doctors have some form of orchestration that they do. All I do is I work with you, Maria, and we put the information out, and then they do their work, and then it the people come. So the practitioner program is really an 8-month journey. It's a commitment to self-expansion. People are coming to the program because they're ready to expand, and they're either coming to integrate the spirit doctor healing into a healing practice that they may already have, or just because it's that point in their life, in in the time in their life where they've been drawn to really take a right turn, and they might want to first of all work with themselves, get to know the team through this process, and then by the end of the 8-month process, we'll be prepared and ready to do work for other people.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah.
So then my next question is, who would this program be suitable for? And you mentioned people who kind of already have a healing practice, or is it for people who want to start a healing practice or something else?
In the beginning, it was for only for people who had healing practices because the program is 4 years old. And in the beginning, I really needed to make sure, for my own feeling of safety or confidence in that we wouldn't have to go through a lot of basics, like what is a healing practice, what's the foundation of it, and all the issues around it, ethical concerns, and how to work with clients. And so for the first 2 years, I only invited practitioners who were interested in the work or wanted to integrate the work. And now it is completely opened up because I had gotten that directive from the spirit doctors. Begin to let this work expand. And here's an interesting thing, Maria. You know, we're always talking about our own expansion. At one point, the spirit doctors really clearly shared with us, we also are expanding on spirit side. And it was
Hmm.
a really interesting concept, like really, I thought that once you're on the spirit side, it's all there. They were like, no, we're constantly expanding. And as you expand down here and expand what we call the ground crew, the practitioners who are here on the ground, right? Because in a sense, going through this program, the practitioner becomes a member of the spirit doctor team. It's like the visible component of it is here.
Oh,
So
that's a lovely way of putting it.
yeah, the ground crew. And so in a way, the early parts of the program are really learning how to, what I call tune in. It's like tuning into the frequency of the spirit doctor team so that information can start to come.
Mhm.
And everybody has a dominant way, a dominant sense, right, to receiving information. So that's usually strengthened through the program, as well as the secondary or even tertiary way of getting information becomes expanded. So that, if let's say I have a way of being able to see the spirit doctors, then that will enhance. But I also want to see if maybe a feeling sense or a clear audience sense will come through.
So it's not necessary anymore for someone to have a healing practice already, but you do want people to have kind of a little bit of experience with spiritual work of this nature, kind of.
I think that would be great. Yes, I would say probably people that are coming to the program aren't completely new to a spiritual practice. I mean, they might be within the last year or so, but they've opened the door. Let's just say this. They've opened the door. And otherwise they wouldn't be at the door. They wouldn't be at the threshold to enter a program like this, right? So it's expanded and it's very exciting because there are practitioners now that are taking this work into schools, um, into all different kinds of places, right? So it's fascinating
Yeah, that leads on to my next question. I'm curious, what have some of your previous students gone on to do?
with this work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So first, it's an integration into our own personal life. So there's a relationship that forms with the spirit doctor team that for the practitioner is very I don't know, I just call it a win-win situation, right? So even though we're going to offer this work to a client or to my classroom, and that could be little primary school kids or whatever age, that whenever we're working with the spirit doctors, they are also working with us. They're working through us, but they're also working with us. And so there's that level, there's just different levels and layers that are happening. So,
Hmm.
yes, definitely the work is being brought into traditional healing practices. There is a man in Switzerland who's doing Rolfing structural integration. He's integrating that into his work. Um, and then a school counselor for primary school children. She's integrated the Spirit Doctor team. So they worked with her early on before she ever came into the program. She
Oh,
did
wow.
private work with me, and they created a beautiful light chamber. They just called it a light chamber, and they basically overlaid it onto her school office. So anytime one of those children would walk in there, they would be flooded with this saturated light. It was beautiful.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, what a nice thing for a school counselor to have.
I know. As one practitioner says, it's just like joy. It's so joyful, and it's never a feeling like draining. The work is not draining. There's a lot of a joy in the work.
Yeah.
But the practitioners, as they go through the program, there's things that as things become uncovered, there's just kind of an element of surprise there, and that's always really lovely.
Yeah.
But
I like
we
that.
all have, that's what I call the storehouse of memory. We all have it in our subconscious, and when we connect through spirit, there's so much information available to us, and we just have to, in a sense, we have to revitalize that or remember that, and that's part of the process. Because probably every one of the practitioners who've come through this program or healers in a past lifetime or had some healing capacity from some other time.
Mm.
It's just an interesting thing to sort of observe, right?
So then if somebody does feel called to this program, but they're still maybe not 100%, maybe like the thinking mind is getting in the way, right? What would you recommend they do?
Yeah, it is a big commitment. It is a really big commitment on a lot of levels. Um, but I would just say try to go inward and see where that inspiration or that feeling is coming from. To go inward, and do a little work on what is, for instance, I spoke with somebody yesterday. Anybody who's interested in the program, I'm willing to have a Zoom chat with. And we spoke, and afterwards she wrote me a note and said, I just feel so excited, so inspired. And I said, that's great. There's your compass, right? Just follow your intuition, follow your compass, and know that if you come across something that's like foot on the brake, foot on the brake kind of resistance, know that there's a reason that resistance is there, and try to understand or explore what it is.
Yeah, well, I'm sure anyone who joins this program would be very well guided and supported by you and the spirit doctors.
Um, if you decide to join the program, know that you're going to have lots of support, not only from me, but the other practitioners and other people, participants who come, form a really beautiful bond of support with one another. So much so that the 2021 group here are still meeting on a monthly basis. They
That's
meet on a
wonderful.
monthly basis and they take turns facilitating a group healing for their group. And it's just such an amazing support system and community, right? It's a real community now that we're in our fourth year.
It's been lovely. And yeah, we'll be in touch. Bye bye.
Bye.